fire at you. TSU head coach Eddie George, the Tigers open the season by hosting the John Merritt Classic, Mississippi Valley State this weekend at Nissan Stadium. Coach, just some thoughts on your team, and then we'll go to some questions.
I feel like we're in a good place. Came out of camp relatively healthy. Guys are really excited to finally play a different team instead of beating up on each other for the past 3 weeks. I felt like we've got some really competitive reps in this camp. I think we got better. Clearly, this is a process that every single week we've got to get better. And with a quality opponent we're going against in Mississippi Valley State, our opening game, the John Merritt Classic, the historic John Merritt Classic, playing in honor of his legacy, his coaching career. And it's just an exciting time to be a Tiger and excited to get this thing going.
Thanks, Coach. I know we got some questions. Mike Organ, I saw your name first. If you got questions for Coach, go ahead and ask him.
Hey, Eddie, I know that you and Jerry Rice overlapped. Were you guys close?
I'll briefly just talk about Jerry Rice.
Yeah,
I had a chance to meet Jerry over the past few. We didn't overlap. He's like maybe 10 years older than me. So we did toward the tail end of his career, and the tail end of mine. I had a chance to work out with Jerry out in San Francisco. We remained good friends since then. In fact, I did see Jerry at a recent card signing, and I asked if he was coming to town because we were opening up against Mississippi Valley State. And he may be here. I know he's a very busy schedule, but he's very proud of his alma mater.
You talk about Mississippi Valley State, Eddie, coming off a tough year last year. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Where do you think you guys might have an advantage?
Well, their strengths, I would definitely say they play hard. You go back to looking at last year, although they didn't win they only won one ball game. You don't necessarily look at the record, you look at the quality of play, especially toward the tail end of the year. And a lot of those games were close. A lot of them came down in the fourth quarter with a possession here or there, or a mishap here or there. So it's not like they're far off. I don't know what they've added in terms of transfers or high school kids that they may have added to their roster. They do have a defensive coordinator that came from Texas A&M Commerce. Offensive coordinator comes from Kansas. So they have a really, really good coaching staff there. And in terms of the personnel, not quite sure yet of what they have from a personnel perspective, but certainly it's going to be a great challenge for us. Anytime you step outside of playing your own team you get familiarity with your own players over 3 weeks, and now you go against a different team that has different tendencies, different tempo, different players, different movements, different tendencies. That's always going to be a challenge. So we're just looking forward to competing, finally kicking the season off great. We just want to come out and try to find the best way to win the ball game.
Okay, my last question, Kyle. Eddie, do you guys have any stated goals heading into this season, heading into your fourth season? Is there anything specific that you guys have set as goals?
Well, clearly we want to be the best team we can be. And I know that's coach speak, but anytime you're in this process, it's about, I've been preaching 9 units strong by the month of November. And if we are focused on that process, the results will take care of themselves. Of course, Mike, we want to win a OVC championship. We want to go to the playoffs. We want to compete for a national championship. But before we get to that, we've got to learn how to play together. We got to learn how to get better. We have to establish really great habits, like winning the day and being present, being where we are now, learning how to compete at a high level under pressure, and those things. So I really challenge our players to focus on the habits and focus on the process of getting better and becoming 9 units strong and holding each other accountable to that. And the results will take care of itself. So, for example, it's 100 degrees today. We got practice in midday. That's an opportunity to stay present and to work and grind through it. So we got to win today and be our best selves and have an excellent practice, regardless of the heat and whatever distractions that may come.
Thanks, Eddie. And good to see you up in boxing yesterday. Looks like you're on your way to 100% recover from that double knee surgery.
Yeah. Just trying to get the hands right, man. Just in case I get tested on the sideline by one of the refs. So I just want to make sure I can defend myself.
I wouldn't want to get in the ring with you. I guarantee you that.
We'll go to Brandon King. Go ahead, Brandon, with your questions.
I wouldn't want to be one of them refs that run up on you. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, Brandon. How about yourself, man?
I can't complain. I'm taking a break from the twins that are downstairs, but nonetheless,
Nice.
we're doing great. We're doing great. Kind of wanted to ask. I got a chance to talk with Coach Wade of Valley yesterday. He did indicate he talked about his starting quarterback going to be Tajarion Williams, and I know you indicated earlier in terms of looking and getting film, because like I said, there's been so much turnover in terms of the program there, coupled with the fact that the teams haven't met since 2019. So with that being said, have you had a chance to look at any film on Tajarion and possibly some of the challenges that he may pose in terms of your defense?
Well, we've seen two different quarterbacks. I think Shadarian was 15. Is he 15 or 9?
He's number 11.
Number?
Yeah, 11. I think.
11.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've had a chance to look at both quarterbacks. And they both present great challenges. They rely a lot on the quarterback counter and getting them involved in the run game, which really presents some problems. From a schematic standpoint, a lot of motioning and shifts. He's got a decent arm, and I believe he's a bigger, the bigger of the two that I have seen, and he makes plays. I mean, he's a kid that makes plays, and the fact that he has experience under his belt says a lot. He's got some game experience, and when you haven't had much success, you keep chopping wood long enough, or you stay around the barbershop long enough, you're bound to get a haircut. And I would like to say that he's gotten better, and from one year to the next. So those are the challenges that he presents. He knows the offense. It's the second year in it. I'm pretty sure the game has slowed down quite a bit. And, you have a quarterback that has game experience.
And kind of a quick follow-up, and Coach Wade alluded to it yesterday, and you kind of did earlier. When you come into, the first game, obviously, and then it's also a team that you hadn't seen in over a decade. How difficult is it to scout in terms of game planning? Because like you said earlier, the guys that were there the last time he played aren't there. He's brought in obviously new talent. Is it a case of you kind of maybe looking at film from previous years to try to perhaps gauge some tendencies and try to give you an idea of what some things that you might want to anticipate or things of that nature?
Yeah, you gotta. Well, it is tough to figure out, from a personnel standpoint, who they have. We still have yet to see their too deep. Trying to get a tail of the tape in terms of how where our matchups could be, where the advantages are, where they have an advantage over us. We looked at last year's tape to kind of get a sense of what they do schematically on both sides of the ball, and certainly with special teams. And you got to start with the coordinators. How do they think? How do they game prep? You look at, for example, their first 2 games of the year, and what they do in openers. We're the same way. I mean, they don't know what we have either, so we've added some pieces to the puzzle as well for us, and we have a new coordinator and a whole new offensive philosophy. So it's like kind of trial and error, and you got to just, especially in the opener where you don't have as much information, you got to piecemeal it together by what they've done last year, what the coordinators do, and what they've done, where they've come from, and kind of base your game plan around that and be ready to adjust on game day.
Okay. Well, appreciate that, Coach, and glad you're recovered, and hope to see you this weekend.
All right. Be blessed. Don't let the Twins rough you up too much.
Hey, that's the plan. That's
All right.
Look, they're asleep right now, so I'm enjoying a minute of peace.
There you go.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck on Saturday. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.